Hi, this is Casey from Android Central, and we have Blackberries in the house.
Woohoo!
We also have Crackberry Kevin explaining to us why Blackberries are good, I guess, right?
I remember the round robin last year, and you really liked this device.
I really did.
You really did.
Yeah, the screen was amazing.
So now it's a year later, and you're in love with the Droid.
Yeah.
But
I had to stay true.
That's okay. I don't hold it against you.
So
I do hold it against anybody who's abandoned BlackBerry for Droid, though.
So this was the BlackBerry last year. This is the Bold
9000.
9000, and this is the BlackBerry this year.
Correct. The Bold 9700.
They kind of look the same.
Yeah, well, Blackberries, they got their thing. They got an iconic look, just like iPhones look like iPhones. Blackberries look like Blackberries.
But they have this new what is it? What do they call this?
They're calling it the trackpad. It's or optical trackpad. So they've scrapped the trackball in favor of it, and it's kind of like your how a mouse works almost.
Yeah, it actually works pretty well.
It's definitely it updates the look. It looks a little more kind of modern, and works very well. It's very responsive. You can.
So is there anything new like in the BlackBerry OS from last year?
Sure. So going from the Bold you used last year in the round robin to this Bold, they've upgraded their operating system from 4.6 version to version 5.0. A lot of that, though, you're probably not going to notice. They've done a few things to the front end consumer experience, which are little things. They added some new menu options. They added some new statistics screens. They gave flagging in emails. Pretty minor stuff that you probably wouldn't notice going from last year to this year, unless you use the phone a lot and you pick them up. The bigger thing they've done, and they've improved their web browser, things like that, and refinements. But it's all been sort of incremental changes on the front end. Behind the scenes, though, the move to OS 5.0 has kind of laid out a lot more, laid out the groundwork for the BlackBerry of tomorrow, you could say. And just a few weeks ago, it was the BlackBerry Developer Conference, and they made a bunch of announcements for things that OS 5.0 is going to take advantage of over the next 6 months, next year.
Okay.
That you're not really seeing in today's BlackBerry. So they now announced OpenGL support, so the gaming experience on devices like the Storm 2 are going to get much better.
So what I noticed about the Blackberries is it's really fast when you use it, right?
Yeah.
So is that like one of the biggest selling points?
Yeah,
the speed of use.
If you think of their heritage coming from enterprise and business, I think RIM started as a productivity tool, a communications tool, and that's kind of their foundation. But then over time now they've added to it. So obviously the web browser. If I think back to my first BlackBerry, it had a web browser, but you didn't even bother using it. Now it's a lot better.
How is it now?
It's a lot better. It's not WebKit, this one. There are third-party browsers like Opera Mini and Bolt browser for it that change up the experience.
Do you have a preferred browser on the...
I've used all of them over time. Now I've gone back to this one, just to the native one for most sites, because it seems to work pretty well, and it's light. It doesn't... for the sites I tend to visit, and for some sites I visit the mobile version still, it works well. But Bolt loads sites very quickly, and Opera does a great job rendering. But they have announced the WebKit browsers on the way. They acquired a company called Torch Mobile, which was sort of a talent acquisition where they bought some really smart guys with WebKit, and they're looking to...
They're going to start building their own.
They're going to build it soon for BlackBerry.
What kind of customization can we do with the OS?
Sure, it's pretty... the home screen experience in that it's fairly fixed. Now you can change your themes, so you can change the wallpaper. So we have a stock Rogers one, but you could show any photo. You can change themes, which change all the icons. You can reorder the positions, but by and large, the home screen experience is geared at launching applications and getting notifications. Kind of like iPhone, you could say.
Right.
You're not tapping to open; you're scrolling on this one and clicking. But the goal here is to open apps quickly, and you can multitask.
Oh, okay.
So,
is there a big market for because on Android there's like a rooted device where we hack it kind of. Is there a big market for that for BlackBerry users?
Not so much. It's pretty tied down. There is some, the biggest thing I'd say in the BlackBerry community we see is everybody wants the latest operating system.
Right.
And, the way that kind of works is, RIM is continually working on the operating system. And basically every Friday.
So it's like a scramble to get the newest.
Yeah, it's a scramble to get the newest. Like every Friday they're compiling the latest version. And, what the carriers get... It might be months and months apart that they release it.
We had that problem with Android, kind of.
Yeah, but people tend to somehow get
get it
unreleased
first.
ones.
And
those leak out, and everybody goes crazy over the latest thing. That's and sometimes they make an improvement in one area and they break something else.
So then
we've even seen people though they'll hack apart. Well, they won't hack apart. Let's say they'll take the radio code out of one device and combine it with the apps code from another to make like a hybrid operating system.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of interesting.
Okay, so it's basically just uploading new operating systems.
Exactly. And then after that, it's it's theming basically is the key thing.
And then this one is this is also on Verizon, right? So this
this is GSM. So this is AT&T, T-Mobile, both
okay.
Rogers in Canada, and then around the world on GSM carriers. This is your Verizon, Vodafone.
Okay, so these two would go kind of head to
head,
right?
exactly. So I mean, if you think exactly that's the big thing. So
okay.
if you think about this device last year, the Storm 1.
This is the Storm 1.
This was kind of, you got to think Verizon has tons of customers,
yeah,
and they don't have an iPhone, and they have tons of people who've been wanting a big touchscreen device. So this was the first hope at it, and it's a device that sold really well, but it wasn't a great...
Yeah, it's kind of rickety.
It's a little, I mean, the screen's got... It was a good concept, but it didn't have the polish that this does. So a year later, RIM releases this, and it's a much better BlackBerry Storm now. They fixed a lot of things. Pretty much all the little complaints in this.
So then this is still the same OS, right?
It's the BlackBerry operating system converted for touchscreen is the best way to think of it. So it's the same concept, and this is where the click screen comes in is, with this kind of device, you're scrolling to where you want to go, and you click. So here you're kind of tapping to where you want to go.
Oh, so you can tap basically until you press execute, and then
exactly.
Okay.
So you navigate, and then you confirm where you want
to
go. Are
there occasions where you can just tap?
In some applications, there's that kind of concept where you can drag on the screen. You don't have to tap to get action. But for the most part, when it comes to navigating and that, it's the same concept. So when you're typing on the keyboard, it's the same thing. Like, you don't just tap to get a letter. You're clicking in.
Is there a notes application where I could try out?
Yeah, let's here. We'll crack open a. I got up to with the Storm 1. I never was able to really come to terms with it fully. Okay, so there's 3 keyboards here.
All right, so this is 2 buttons on one, or 2 letters on one button.
Right, which is the old Shure type thing that the BlackBerry Pro originated with. Now we can change this though, so we could also go to enable full keyboard, and now you have 1 letter. Ooh. And it's got some predictive text turned on right now.
So I would have to click. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it works, and you just have to kind of change your train of thought in typing.
You got to learn it. You got to invest some time to learn it.
Okay.
And you can turn it sideways though, and then you have your fold-out keyboard. So this would be your closest, to the Droid. And it just takes a little practice, and then you're going pretty good on it.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
No, and I mean you can change the way the auto predicts text and everything. Auto correction works.
How's the app situation on BlackBerry?
It's really coming along. Yeah, oh, yeah? I mean App World launched. So last year when the Round Robin came out, there was no App World. But now they launched it on I think it was April 1st, 2009. And there's a few thousand apps in there. There's a lot of compelling apps.
Are you limited to what you can install? Because then on Android you can only save it to your hard drive, the internal memory. Yeah,
exactly. So RIM has that same situation where, and this is one of the things. So the old BlackBerry Bold you had only had 128 megs of flash memory, which is where your operating system sat, your browser cache, your installed apps, your email inbox. So on the new devices they've doubled it to 256, which gives you about 110 megs for apps. BlackBerry apps tend to be fairly small, so you can still, you can put on 10, 20, 30 apps, and it's running okay on the Bold, the new Bold, no problem. But they're working on that, so now you can, once an app, you can save apps to your memory card.
Right.
When they're installed, they're running from the flash memory, so there is that sort of limit. But they're working on things where you can offload parts of the apps to the memory card, so you pull them out.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, so they're working on a lot of stuff to address that, but it's an issue if you want to go app crazy and install 2,000 apps. I think for most people, they find the 5-10 apps they use a lot, and then it's not too bad.
Okay. Well, I think we're just about out of time, so thanks, Crackberry Kevin.
My pleasure. Anytime, Casey.